Typhoon Hinnamnor brushes past, but Taiwan is still feeling the effects. $1.1 billion. That's how much the latest U.S. arms sales to Taiwan is worth. A Taipei mayoral candidate is under fire for a campaign video about public toilets. And find out how these AI-powered robots are greeting visitors at Taiwan's main international airport. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Yin Khvat. Typhoon Hinnamnor may not have made landfall, but it's brought stormy weather to Taiwan. Rains are expected to continue for the next few days. Over the weekend, some households were left without electricity and others had to be evacuated. But no casualties were reported. Bing Wang takes stock of how the weather has affected parts of the country.
Winds toppled vehicles and trees. This vendor had to cling onto a pole against strong gusts to continue selling her fruits. The first typhoon of the year did not make landfall, but it did bring downpours and strong winds.
大雨的话，对于我们日常生活的交通啊、通勤都会不太方便。就是因为台北目前的话，最近这几天主要是下雨比较多。那下雨比较多的话，就会造成如果我要去一些地方办事情，比较不太方便。
Although the storm is moving past Taiwan and warnings have been lifted, the clouds are here to stay.
在入夜之前，大概在整个中北部的这个区域都还是会有下雨的这个状况。那山区的雨量还是会累积哦，只是它累积的这个速度已经没有像之前那么快了。
The rain over the weekend brought mudslides in Miaoli in northern Taiwan, forcing nearly 1,000 people to evacuate their homes. And the lights went off for many across the country, with an estimated 23,000 households without power. But despite the chaos, the typhoon did serve a purpose. The Water Resources Agency said that reservoirs in danger of running dry were replenished.
3天前的那个蓄水量是1.53亿，现在目前已经回升到1.9亿，也就增加4000万的入流量。
Just last month, the northern port city of Keelung had to bring tankers and ask the citizens to conserve the water.
Taiwan has been anticipating its first major storm of the year. That's because many parts of the country has been facing drought because of the lack of rain.
Taiwan's typhoon season is historically from July to September, but this is the third consecutive year that it's getting its first typhoon in September, and there could be a reason for it. The Ministry of Science and Technology says that global warming is likely the cause of extreme weather, and the country could see fewer typhoons in the future. Klein Wang and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
Japan and Korea are bracing for the impact of Typhoon Hinnamnor as it heads north from Taiwan. The storm, which swept past the main island over the weekend, has already brought stormy weather to Japan's Okinawa. It is expected to bring strong winds and heavy rain to western Japan and the southern part of the Korean Peninsula. Its effects are also expected in North Korea, which has issued a rain warning for some regions. The US announced plans to sell Taiwan a $1.1 billion weapons package on Friday. The deal comes a month after US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited the island as tensions in the Taiwan Strait remain heightened.
It's seen as the newest form of gray zone warfare from China, tactics aimed at exhausting Taiwan's military without having to fire a shot. Civilian drones have been spotted flying around Taiwan's outlying island of Jinmen. The latest footage shows Taiwan's military scrambling to warn off the unmanned aerial vehicle using anti-drone weapons.
We've seen the drones from both sides. They can be used for harassment or surveillance. But I would say that this recent activity, they have more political and symbolic meanings, and they have more value in propaganda rather than military activities.
Activity has been increasing around Taiwan. Last month, there was a record number of warplane incursions from China into its Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. It's seen as a hangover from China's unprecedented military exercises launched in August. The 5 days of drills, essentially simulating an attack on Taiwan, were in response to a visit by the U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She became the highest-level U.S. official to visit Taiwan in 25 years, despite Beijing's objections. Taiwan has since enhanced its defenses and is stepping up its combat readiness. This weekend, the U.S. approved a $1.1 billion weapons package for Taiwan.
So it is basically two parts. One is the maintenance of the Taiwan's land-based early warning systems. And the second part of the deal is to maintain or to improve the combat capabilities of Taiwan's F-16 fleet. There are a lot of discussions regarding the vulnerabilities of Taiwan's air fleet.
The deal includes 60 Harpoon anti-ship missiles and 100 Sidewinder air-to-air missiles. Both weapons can be fired from Taiwan's newly retrofitted F-16V fighter jets. The package also includes support for Taiwan's early warning surveillance program, which helped detect incoming enemy missiles.
有机会可以捕捉到包括逆中战机，也包括巡弋飞弹，还有甚至低飞的直升机等等，可以让我们的防空系统更完整。
Despite never having ruled it, the People's Republic of China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and has warned it will take Taiwan back by force if necessary. Experts say that Taiwan's air defenses, such as its air force and anti-air systems, would play a vital role in fending off an invasion.
For any landing operation to be successful, the opponents need to control the air and sea around Taiwan. And the most important task for the Taiwan military is to prevent its enemy from controlling the air and sea. So surface-to-air missiles, anti-ship missiles, and different platforms that carry and fire them are all efforts to keep building up a force that is suitable to repel a major landing operation.
At its closest point, Taiwan is less than 10 kilometers from China's mainland. With tensions with Beijing at one of its highest points, the Ministry of Defense is looking to shore up support from its allies, but has said ultimately that Taiwan's security is in its own hands. Chris Ma and Jaime Okan for TaiwanPlus.
The Prime Minister of Tuvalu, one of Taiwan's 14 remaining diplomatic allies, is on his first visit to the country since taking office. Hosea Natano received a military salute outside the presidential office in Taipei before a meeting with President Tsai Ing-wen. He is set to sign agreements on police and Coast Guard cooperation, as well as a memorandum with Kaohsiung's National Sun Yat-sen University on education and maritime research. Several countries in the Pacific region, such as the Solomon Islands, have switched recognition from Taipei to Beijing in recent years under mounting pressure from Beijing. But Natano said Tuvalu remains committed to its relationship with Taiwan.
Through tumultuous time of geostrategic agendas, we continue to stand firm in our commitment to remain a lasting and loyal ally of the Republic of China.
Taiwan is set to resume its visa waiver for citizens of certain countries from September 12th. The announcement came on Monday during the government's daily COVID briefing. In addition to citizens of Taiwan's diplomatic allies, citizens of the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand and some European countries will be allowed in visa-free. The weekly cap of 50,000 entries into Taiwan will stay in place. All arrivals will have to take a saliva COVID test, quarantine for 3 days and monitor their health for a further 4 days. Taiwan recorded 24,103 new cases of COVID-19 on Monday. The ongoing wave is spurred by the BA.5 subvariant and is expected to continue until October. Experts say children and senior citizens who aren't fully vaccinated should stay home over the upcoming Mid-Autumn Festival long weekend. Parents of small children should be especially cautious. Just 30% of 6-month-olds to 4-year-olds have gotten their first vaccine dose, and just over 3% have had their second jab.
还没有打完3剂或是4剂疫苗的，或是说你距离上一次疫苗已经超过6个月以上的，如果疫情紧绷的时候呢，能够尽量就是改成其他在居家的一种活动方式。
Public toilets aren't usually a subject you'd expect at the centre of a political campaign ad or to provoke heated criticism. But that's what happened when Taipei mayoral candidate Chen Shizong released a video to promote bidets. Louise Watt reports.
A Taiwanese influencer, Si Chamao, caught short in a Taipei public toilet. He asks the person next door whether they have any toilet paper and then gets more than he bargained for from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party's Taipei mayoral candidate, Chen Shizong. The video is to promote Chen's pledge to upgrade the city's public toilets, but Chen's opponents were quick to hit out.
反偷窥、反性骚，其实这已经是普遍的基本观念。那其实昨天争议影片一出来，舆论挞伐，但是我看到陈时中还是不愿意道歉。
Another mayoral candidate, Vivian Huang, said Chen was a poor role model for children.
原来的利益应该是良善，想要开个玩笑，但是性骚扰跟窥视这件事情，真的不是可以用儿戏来带过的。
Chen became a household name as Taiwan's health minister, steering the country through the pandemic. He stepped down to campaign for the capital's mayor, a role that's often been a step to the presidency.
请问有卫生纸吗?
His campaign team quickly took down what was dubbed the Peeping Chen video, and it appeared online again with the offending part removed.
那我们并没有任何要有骚扰任何的意识在，有这种感觉，我们表达歉意。台北是一个进步的城市，我们努力让它做性别友善。
Chen's policy of upgrading Taipei's more than 7,000 public toilets has also come under attack. Independent mayoral candidate Huang says Taipei funds shouldn't be spent on luxurious and unnecessary items like electronic bidets. With just weeks to go in this heated contest, this latest war of words proves that nothing is too big or too small to argue over. Damon Lin and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's fisheries agency has met with US officials to discuss how to better protect the rights of migrant fishermen. Washington said in July that Taiwan was still failing to catch cases of forced labor on its fishing vessels. The fisheries agency says it has shared its latest progress on improving human rights with the US Department of Labor. This includes raising the minimum wage and setting a minimum rest time for fishermen. Taiwan has faced international criticism for the treatment of fishermen from Indonesia and other Southeast Asian countries on board its fishing fleet. Last week, a report by campaign group Greenpeace said it had found new cases of forced labor on 6 Taiwanese vessels that supply seafood to the United States. Top government officials have paid their respects to 2 police officers killed in the line of duty last month. The officers were stabbed to death in August while investigating a vehicle authorities say was stolen by an escaped prison inmate. Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen spoke at a funeral for the officers. She promised that their families would be taken care of. She also vowed to amend police regulations to help keep police safe.
紧切使用条例相关修法，在立法院新会期开议后，将透过我们朝野部门的努力，尽速协商。同时，政府也要通盘检讨关于相关规定，并列入优先法案，以强化我们的社会安全网。
Coming up, a swim with a difference. We check in with one of the world's largest open water swimming events right here in Taiwan.
In a changing world, when voices are being silenced, TaiwanPlus is listening.
It's our below legal.
We tell those stories. No compromise, no boundaries,
People in Taiwan.
no fear.
I want to study Chinese. I'm Ryan Kilpatrick. Capital Taipei. TaiwanPlus.
TaiwanPlus News.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling for European unity ahead of what he warns will be a difficult winter as Russia weaponizes its energy exports. In a video message, Zelensky said Russia is continuing its efforts to put more pressure on Europe's energy supply, cutting oil and gas exports as retaliation for their support of Kyiv's fight against the Russian invasion. Noting that Moscow has already stopped the Nord Stream gas pipeline to Germany, Zelensky called for European leaders to stand together.
Цієї зими Росія готується до вирішального енергетичного удару по всім європейцям. І ключовими відповідями на це мають бути дві речі. Перше – наша єдність у захисті від держави-терориста. Друге – посилення нашого власного тиску на Росію. І це і посилення всіх рівнів санкцій, і обмеження нафтогазових доходів Росії.
China has extended its lockdown of the southwestern city of Chengdu, affecting millions of people. Chengdu's central Xinjiang district announced it would intensify lockdown measures and extend them for at least 3 days more as the provincial capital battles a wave of COVID-19 infections. Other districts also announced a third round of mass testing. Tech hub Shenzhen, where many Taiwanese companies have production facilities, also announced a new round of COVID-19 testing and tiered restrictions short of a full city-wide lockdown. 33 cities across China are currently under full or partial lockdown, affecting more than 65 million residents. Typhoon Hinnamnor may have been bringing stormy weather to Taiwan, but it wasn't enough to stop a popular annual swimming event. Thousands of people jumped into the country's Sun Moon Lake on Sunday for their only chance this year to take a dip in the tourist hotspot. Eric Gao has the details.
What's a little rain if you're going to get wet anyway? Despite poor weather brought on by Typhoon Hinnamnor, 18,000 people joined in the annual Sun Moon Lake swim in central Taiwan. The dreary conditions did nothing to dampen participants' enthusiasm.
我们6个人目标就是前6个上来。我们昨天就先下来住了，对，然后今天早上我们4点半起床，5点半就出门了，非常兴奋，很兴奋，激动，对。但是好多年了，今年下雨真的有点辛苦。
Cancelled last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the swim is 3 kilometers long total and could take up to 3 hours to complete. The typhoon was just a little extra challenge for swimmers to overcome.
就很爽，完成一个人生成就的感觉。遇到台风天有点尴尬，还以为会取消，但还好没有取消。
Sun Moon Lake is a popular scenic spot. The annual swim is the largest open water mass participation event in the world, and it's the only time when people are allowed to swim in the lake.
原本以为会累，但其实还好，还蛮厉害的，有成就感，很有成就感。
Anyone aged 8 to 75 can participate. Even Taiwan's former president, 72-year-old Ma Ying-jeou, took to the water. Just goes to show, it will take a lot more than a little rain to keep these swimmers at bay. Patrick Chen and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's competitive cheerleading squads have taken the medal table by storm at the 2022 Asian Cheerleading Championship in Bangkok. Taiwan sent 6 squads to the event. Together they bagged 3 gold medals along with 1 silver and 1 bronze. It's the first time Taiwan's cheerleaders have competed abroad since the pandemic began more than 2 years ago. The teams only started practicing in earnest in March. That's considered a short preparation time by normal standards. When Taiwan begins welcoming international tourists next week for the first time in 2.5 years, there will be a new AI robot waiting to greet them, as Andrew Ryan reports. They are just a small example of the artificial intelligence research being done in Taiwan. Some of the world's biggest companies have already set up base here, hoping to capitalize on the trend.
您莅临台湾，请点选荧幕开始报道程序。
This is Xiaofa. She greets passengers arriving at Taiwan's main international airport in Taoyuan in Mandarin, English, Korean, and even Japanese. Just input a code, and then her compatriot Xiaomi will take you exactly where you want to go. These robots use artificial intelligence to map out the quickest route to your destination. And that's not all. They can sense obstacles in their path and navigate around them.
我觉得感觉蛮不错的。一旦我入境的时候，我就可以立刻有收到相关的简讯。
他解说得很清楚啊，对啊，然后他会把我们带到我们要下车的地方。
Xiaofa cost more than $300,000 to develop. The goal wasn't just to come up with a cute way to welcome people to Taiwan. These robots actually serve a greater purpose. They're helping people navigate the airport at a time when the coronavirus makes it risky for a human to do the job. It's just one small way that artificial intelligence is making inroads in Taiwan. Behind the scenes, some of the world's biggest computer companies are pouring money into AI research here. Google chose Taiwan as the location of its largest R&D center outside of the United States, and one of the things it focuses on is artificial intelligence. In 2020, the company trained 10,000 Taiwanese teachers in machine learning so they can introduce AI to their students. And it's not just Google. Other companies like Microsoft and Intel are also investing in Taiwan and working with Taiwanese companies on AI-related endeavors. Ethan Tu is the founder of Taiwan AI Labs. His company has used the technology to create virtual tours of Taiwan at a time when the doors are closed to tourists. He says Taiwan is well placed to become an industry leader.
Taiwan is a country with a lot of diversity. We have a lot of freedom in terms of our culture, and because of vibrant society in Taiwan, we can create a lot of ideas.
Not only does Taiwan have an environment that encourages innovation, Tu says it's also home to the cutting-edge technology that's needed to power artificial intelligence.
Taiwan is very famous for the ICT industry. For example, the supercomputer, the GPU cloud. We have a lot of AI chipset makers in Taiwan. Taiwan have a lot of great software talents.
Tu says one area that's particularly suited to artificial intelligence is Taiwan's hospitals. That's because digital medical records are universal, thanks to the National Health Insurance Program.
We want to innovate AI in Taiwan and for the world, which means, first of all, we want to leverage Taiwan's talents. We leverage Taiwan's problem. We solve this problem. And after we solve this problem, it will become an open solution for other countries they can use.
Xiaofa's creators are looking to add 10 more languages to the robots as Taiwan reopens its borders to tourists later this year. Experts here are hoping that Taiwan's advances in AI, like these robots, will one day help people everywhere navigate the challenges they face. Damon Lin, Ken Ning, and Andrew Ryan for TaiwanPlus.
Starting your own business is tough. Starting your own business in a foreign country is even tougher. But that's exactly what one Hong Kong artist has done in Taiwan. Here's her story.
我在2016年9月一个人来到台湾环岛旅行，本来只是打算待3个月，但没想到一直就留到现在了。小时候就很喜欢看台湾的节目，然后就想我毕业之后，我第一个要去旅行的地方就是台湾。第一次跟我朋友来了台北，玩了5天。毕业之后存了2万块港币，就一个人来环岛。我来台湾环岛之前，有在 Facebook 上面做网络插画，开始会有出版社来找你出书，所以我那时候就出了一个叫《香港手作小旅行》的书。我环岛去住了一间青年旅馆，认识了一对夫妻。大概3个月之后，我要回去，很想留在台湾。刚好他邀请我合作，然后我就留在北门开了一间店。我刚开始开店的时候，我的家人都很反对，生意最差1个月就真的只有3000块营业额，所以我爸妈就觉得我很辛苦，为什么不好好回香港打工就好了？但是我是觉得，我就答应了人家，怎么样也是有这个责任，就把这间店一起走到最后。 蛮感谢很多香港朋友，那时候有些朋友就直接寄了一箱吃的到我店。在我顾店这段期间，我也开始了一些小小的品牌，然后也有出去寄卖，然后开始讲到原来文创要怎么做。有时候就会觉得台湾最大的文创书店就是诚品。我品牌其实刚做几个月，就去参加那一届的少年头家，就蛮幸运的。因为那个时候我做文创，我最终目标我就是要上架成品。我跟人家合作开店，虽然最后是2年多之后就结束了，但是我也没有觉得我创业失败了，因为我在中间的过程其实学到蛮多的，从中间观察到不同国家客人会喜欢买什么东西。以前我什么都要自己做，开店到现在的过程，我就学到我要适当的放松，不要什么事情都要自己拿起来做，因为每个人都有他厉害的地方。前面有这2年多开店的经验，所以蛮幸运，就一刚开始就稳定的成长。我们就决定在永康街去开一间真正属于自己的店面。我的品牌给客人的印象，对东西都是小小的，这些东西对我来说是有感情的，所以我也希望我的设计，客人是会对它有一个不一样的感情，是你看到这些图案会想到你的朋友。因为我自己有一个习惯，就是每天我都要去想新的东西，我有什么新的想法，我都要把它做出来。基本上生活就是每天都在工作，但是我也去享受这一个工作，它是工作，但是也是我的生活。
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. I'm Yin Khvat. Finally, we leave you with images of the Frieze Art Fair in Seoul, South Korea. Stay safe and see you next time.